Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Orsus here again. And as promised in my previous video explaining my new build from the post-patch, the post-25th patch, here are some examples of the new dungeon and what the new thief stuff can bring to it. What you're actually seeing here is our first attempt as a guild. We weren't using any voice communications, or we didn't prepare in depth beforehand, or anything. We saw the dev stream. I think I did. I know I did. I think 2 or 3 others in the party saw it as well. But apart from that, we knew pretty much nothing about it. So, you know, forgive any errors in judgment that you see going on. So this is pretty much just what I picked up from one run, just from one test, just to see how Thief fares in comparison to other dungeons. So I just want to go over sort of what the new changes can bring in particular. Now, the first thing you'll notice as soon as you walk in the door is that the majority of the dungeon is heavily boon focused. I mean, a massive portion of the damage from trash comes from boons. It comes from fury, loads and loads of might stacks, some good stability, and a bunch of swiftness, I think, as well. They all grant all those boons between each other. I think they have warbands in some areas, so you know, not just players have warbanners now, not just ogres as well, it's random pirates, whatever. You know, as well as Larcenous Strike to steal the boons for yourself, you can now steal those boons and share them to your friends a lot more often, thanks to the Sleight of Hand change and Bountiful Theft combined. So those might stacks they keep giving each other is going to be a massive help to you. I've noticed that the Fury and Might are often stolen first. I don't know whether that's a guaranteed thing, but it usually happens for me. I wait for the Grenadiers to get something like 12 or 15 stacks, and then boom, it's all ours, which is very nice. And anything left over I can just steal with Larcenous Strike. That is if I'm not using Sword and Pistol. And regular interrupts with that daze as well. Seriously, don't underestimate that daze. Instant cast from 900 range is bloody awesome. But most importantly, there's something I really need to emphasize about this dungeon in particular, unlike any other, and that is the steal skills available to us. You see, most mobs in here, apart from the Inquest, are pirate class mobs, and piracy and pirate class mobs have a certain stolen skill called Drink. It's the same as Elixir of Heroes, this item you find in sort of low-level areas, the starting areas like Gandhara Fields, and places like that, and you can steal it off those low-level pirate mobs too. And it basically gives you 3 seconds of total invulnerability to everything. You can't be hit, you can't take damage, you can't take condition damage. It's pretty much like renewed focus or something like that. And you have access to that every time you steal if you're against a bunch of pirates. And one thing I should mention is that the bosses have it too. Mitrin and Horik, I think his name is, the first mate, they both have that skill in the pool that you can steal from. And it's very likely that you'll steal it. It's almost 100% chance, pretty much. Like, every pirate I stole from, I got that exact skill. And it's absolutely insane. It is by far the best stolen skill in the entire game. If this were in PvP, it would be so far and beyond everything else that it would be immediately nerfed. But because it's PvE, and warriors exist, I suppose it's gone pretty much unnoticed, and especially considering the fact that this is the only endgame dungeon that we have access to this skill in, and I really think we need more access to it. It makes you feel so much more effective. Like, seriously, it is an incredible boost to yourself, and particularly to your allies, because you are so much more capable of rezzing them if they go down, and you can take so much more punishing aggro for a short period of time. And don't forget that you can store the skill and then use it twice over. If you use it and then towards the end of it you steal again from another pirate, and then you have sort of 6 seconds of total invulnerability where you're just cleaving them all to death with your super high DPS if you keep your initiative high. So, you know, that's absolutely crazy. And when I say keeping your initiative high, I'm of course referring to the 25 trickery trait. So 15% damage bonus if you have 15 initiative, 1 per point. So that is very nice indeed. Refer to my other video with my building if you don't really know what that's about. What you're watching is me using that exact build that I'm talking about in our first attempt, and it's pretty much worked out perfectly. There are some little hiccups where I had no target to steal from, particularly during the heavy AoE parts, which meant that I was incapable of giving vigor to teammates. So that's a little bit of a weakness there. I can't give out that really helpful boon for that long period of time that I could have done against all the trash. I don't know if I was missing it. I mean, maybe there was someone on a ledge and I could have stolen it and shared vigor, but I couldn't see it. Like, that's pretty much the only downfall in the entire dungeon. Like, everywhere else, Thief excels. This is a dungeon pretty much made for thieves. So I highly suggest that you invest in this new stuff, this new trickery stuff, and try it out for yourself, because it is a massive help to you and your team to have something like that going, that heavy boon stripping and that immense distribution of more dodges, I guess, because, you know, in this game it's usually dodge or die, and Vigor is pretty much the best boon in the game except for protection and Aegis. So, you know, being able to give it out on such a wide basis is absolutely ridiculous, and on such a low cooldown, like three quarters-ish uptime of Vigor for your whole team if they're close enough. The radius is pretty large, so that really shouldn't be too much of a problem. But yeah, that's pretty much what a Thief can bring, and it's absolutely incredible. I actually feel in this dungeon like I'm actually a use to my team. It's something that I don't get much in the other dungeons. In the other dungeons, I'm basically just sort of a lone wolf, just doing whatever I can with my high damage and my sustainable evasions and things like that. My only real support I felt came from rezzing people with Shadow Refuge and Signet of Agility. And that was pretty much all the support I felt I could give without sacrificing damage, too much damage. But now that we have potential builds like this, I think this is going to be a massive help. And if dungeons continue to be like this going forward, I think that this could be a bright future for Thieves as a class. The only thing, really, is that it's pigeonholing us, sort of, into going full trickery to get all that support stuff. I think that more of the Shadow Arts-based support, like the regeneration and stealth and the venom sharing and all that stuff, that's all that needs to be given a significant kick to really feel like you're doing something useful, because, to be honest, Venom Share sacrifices so much DPS that it just becomes, you know, you become a negligible member of the party. So, you know, Trickery is pretty much the best support we can get at this point, with the exception of Shadow Refuge, and you don't need to spec into anything to have Shadow Refuge on your toolbar, so yeah, this is as good as our support gets, but that doesn't matter because it's amazing. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you try out this sort of thievery for yourself in the new dungeon. I hope you enjoy it. It's a very good dungeon. If you haven't tried it, I suggest you do it immediately. And yeah, so